Welcome to the British Online School podcast, where today I am joined by TikTok sensation Blind Tobes, or as I'll be calling him, Toby. Thank you so much for joining us today, Toby.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, Toby, I've followed you on TikTok for quite a while now, before even we started this school. Well, actually, maybe just after we started this school. And what I find fascinating is when I'm looking at your videos is, one minute I could be learning something really interesting. So like yellow tends to be the last colour blind people tend to see. And then I could flick to your next one and then I'm laughing my head off because of the experiences you've gone through, especially some unique dating experiences, shall we say. And what I just find so incredible is you have lost your sight, which you had when you were born. And instead of letting it get you down, you've really turned this into quite a positive thing. And you have really sort of captivated the audience on TikTok. You have over 180,000 followers. They all seem to be very engaging with you. And I just find that so inspirational. And I think our students will do as well. If they're not already watching you on TikTok, I'm certain after this they will be. And once they see one video, they will do. So I am generally very, very grateful to have you joining us here today to go through the questions that both the students have asked and also stuff that I'd like to find out as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
So, as I've already mentioned, you weren't born blind. I was just wondering if you could maybe take a minute to explain sort of what happened and how you sort of dealt with that after you found out that you were eventually going to lose your sight.
Sure. So I was diagnosed at the age of 2 with a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. And we didn't know straight away. I kept actually walking into a Christmas tree branch over and over again. And my parents thought, oh, there's probably something wrong here. So they took me to, I think it was Great Ormond Street Hospital, and I was diagnosed there, and then progressively lost my sight as I grew up. It was very, very slow, and then got a little bit quicker into my teen years. And during my teen years, when it was going quickly, I was actually very frustrated and very, not upset, but very down about it, struggling with a bit of mental health. But then something clicked when I got to sort of 15, 16 and did lose my vision fully. And everything turned around for me, and I can't put my finger on what changed, but it was almost like a reality check and say, sort of, come on, just get on with it now. You can't, change the cards you're given, so let's try and play.
Well, that's such a fantastic thing to hear, because my next question was going to be, how did you get over it? But you've just said you don't know, so can I put a few things to you? Like, were you surrounded by very supportive family and friends?
Very supportive family. My parents divorced when I was losing my vision as well, which probably didn't help with the whole process. But they were always supportive regardless of whatever they were going through. And everyone at my school was fantastic. They were brilliant staff. I was very, very lucky to be in the school I was. So that definitely made it easier. But I did actually lose quite a lot of friends at the time because they didn't necessarily know how to interact with a blind person or someone who was losing their vision. So I guess you could say, I did have some good people around me, but also maybe I lost a few people in the process as well.
And did those friends like sort of outright tell you, right, I don't know how to act around you, or was it something you sort of sense as if, right, they're not talking to me the same as they used to?
Yeah, that's it. It was just a gradual kind of growing further apart type thing. I would have much preferred it if they would have said, I don't necessarily know how to feel about this, because then that would have opened a conversation. But yeah, it was a very, very gradual process of just sort of isolating themselves from me.
And is this sort of what has inspired you to move on to TikTok? Because a lot of your videos are about sort of those stigmas that are attached. I watched a video just this morning of you saying it's okay to say see you later, and it's okay to say you've watched a movie. And has that sort of inspired you to do that sort of content?
Yeah, a lot of my interactions with people, whether it was with friends growing up or just people that I meet from day to day, it's not obviously their fault, but they're just not educated on it. It's not something we learn about, too much when we're growing up. So yeah, there are a lot of misconceptions and stereotypes that I try to tackle. People don't know whether they can say see or not, or, what were you watching on the TV? They might say, what were you listening to on the TV? And, I try and, I'm not listening to the TV, I'm watching, just in a very different way. So yeah, that's definitely a reason as to why I do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's so sad to hear that some people have turned away, but unfortunately, some people are just human, aren't they? Well, we're all just human, and it's that sort of struggling to sort of deal with what's in front of them, which is such a shame for you. But and I'm going to keep saying this throughout the podcast, you seem to have just turned it into such a positive thing. And one of those massive positive things in your life is you've just completed university, haven't you?
I have. I'm very. It was a great experience going through university, but I was definitely ready to finish.
And what result did you get?
I'm very happy to say that I did get a first class degree.
That's incredible. And
Thank you.
how did you find university life during COVID and everything else that's going on in the planet right now?
COVID did take away some of the greatness of it. I had such a good first year. You know, it was very, very social, and actually, I learned that people had grown up and they did maybe know a bit better how to act around someone who was blind, and that made me feel amazing. But then obviously COVID hit, and not everyone was as social. You don't message people every day like you'd see them every day. So it was a bit challenging, but we got through, and I guess my grade reflects that it didn't impact it too much.
No, definitely not. And what do you plan to do with that degree going forward?
So currently, I'm just sticking with social media and seeing where that goes. For me, it's just too good of an opportunity to say I'll put you on the back burner. So I'm putting a lot of my attention into that. But one day I will eventually go back to my roots of my degree. I studied counselling and psychology, so I will eventually go back to my dream of being a CBT practitioner.
Well, counselling and psychology must have a lot to play with social media, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So I don't think it's something that you'll just leave on the back burner,
No,
like you said
no.
about TikTok account, but with your degree as well.
It's such a contemporary thing, mental health, or even just people are interested in psychology and what that means per se. So yeah, it's definitely something I can integrate into my content.
Ah, fantastic. So let's move on to your content then, and more specifically, why did you start a TikTok account?
It's very strange. I've always wanted to do social media. I've been told by lots of people that I'd be great for things like YouTube and even TikTok, and I was like, a bit self-conscious maybe. But I went to a live comedy event, and a clip of me there went viral where a comedian asked me what my favourite disability was, not knowing that I was blind, and I held up my cane, and that got a very good reaction, went viral. And in the comment section of that video, it wasn't my video, there were loads and loads of really random questions about being blind, like, oh, why is he wearing sunglasses, or he's definitely fake, he's not blind, type thing. So I thought, okay, let's make a video just answering some of the questions that came up a lot, and somehow that went viral. And yeah, never really looked back after that. You know, just played with it. It got a lot of traction. The videos that I posted afterwards. So yeah, then we get to a few months later and we're here.
Yeah, brilliant. And you didn't use your Kane's official name that I've heard you call it many times on
That's right,
TikTok.
Michael. Good old
Michael
Michael
Kane.
Caine.
Yeah, and this is what I do like. I mean, you could sit in front of a camera and just say, "Oh, yeah, this is hard to do. This is hard to do." But even little things like your Kane having a name for it, I just think it's absolutely brilliant. And that may be a reason why you might answer this question the way you do. Is why do you think you have connected with so many people around the world on your account? Like say, 180,000 followers in what, less than a year, isn't it?
About 4 months, yeah.
About 4 months. There we go.
Yeah, very, very, very quick. I don't know. That's a tough question to answer because I'm not the person watching. To me, like, it's not interesting at all. You know, it's just my life that I live from day to day. But I suppose people like it because I'm not your typical blind person. I'm not sit at home in the dark, you know, listening to Stevie Wonder, you know, as everyone thinks we do. You know, I go out, I'm very gun ho. I'll say it how it is. I like to think I'm somewhat charismatic, and people connect with that, and maybe some people find comfort in that.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, and some of the videos you put on, like, and like you say, it may be your everyday life, like how do you clean, how do you cook, but for us, is well, for us who sort of are watching you, it is a fascinating
Yeah.
thing to see the little things that you have to do, which allows you to do things so that make look so simple. So, for instance, the little extra buttons you put on your cooker,
Yeah.
and on your laptops. But there was a fascinating one the other day. You were building a table, yeah, which I'm sure if anyone else was building a table, it'd be like, oh, I'll scroll through that one. But
Yeah. Yeah.
not only it's not, and it's not just because of your disability. Okay, the fact that you're blinded, and it is like you just said, it's you've got that little bit of charisma, and I think it is that positive spark. So
Yeah.
really, with all that included, it's all very positive and all very brilliant, which I think you're doing.
Thank you.
You still get some negative comments, don't
I
you?
do. I do. I think that's just part of being on social media. You don't have to have a following to get negative comments or be engaging with people who are having a go at you. I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's obviously not blind," and they're the ones that actually annoy me the most. I don't. You can call me this, that, or whatever. You can insult me. That doesn't bother me because I'm very thick-skinned. But when they say, "Oh, you're not blind," they're the ones that annoy me the most because obviously, you know, I've been doing this every day now for 4 months. It's not necessarily a long time, but why would I be doing it for that long? Just for attention? I don't know what they think I'd be doing it for, but yeah, they're the ones that get me.
Yeah. Now, obviously, social media in any school environment is a very difficult thing to say. And you say you're quite thick-skinned, which I think You definitely have to be
Mm,
if you're having a following like you do.
yeah.
But what would you say to students who are sort of maybe experiencing online bullying or some nasty comments, and they maybe not have got as thick skin as you have? What would you say to them to help them deal with that?
I think first off, if you're struggling, there's always support for you, whether that's in your school or hopefully family and friends. And also, it's okay to take yourself away from a situation. You don't have to be on social media all the time just because it's trendy. You know, it is okay to take a step back and think, I don't need to be involved in this drama or this abuse. You know, if it's not going to be resolved, then why engage with it?
Yeah, brilliant. Um, and has there been any point where you may have got a few comments in one particular video or not where you thought, do you know, actually maybe this isn't worth it?
Yeah, it's hard not to bite back. I think that's what they're looking for, is me to bite back and, you know, say something I shouldn't maybe. Sometimes I do want to put people in their place. That's very my nature. I've got quite a short fuse in that sense, where if someone's annoying me, I will tell them that they're annoying me. But yeah, I do have to leave it a lot of the time. Not that I get a lot of bad comments or anything like that, but it's not worth, you know, saying something you shouldn't, or, you know, getting cancelled over one comment from someone who probably doesn't even mean what they're saying.
Right, that's it, isn't it? Online, people sort of hide behind
Yeah,
their screen.
exactly.
And do you find that having sort of your girlfriend Natalie with you, do you sort of just rant to her about what's been said and then that's enough?
Definitely, I'll be sat there with my screen reader reading out all the comments to me, and I'll just be sighing. And she's like, comments? I'm like, yeah, and we'll talk about them. I don't. Sometimes she gets nasty comments as well, and I really don't see why. They're the ones that annoy me the most as well, because it's like it's not even her account. Like she's not even doing it. So yeah, we do get annoyed at it together. But it's good that I've got that support. I've got that person who's doing it with me all the time. You know, it never feels like I'm alone doing it. So that's definitely a positive.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think that was great what you said to students about just sort of how to deal with that because it is, isn't it? It is part of it used to be you just say, "Oh, just ignore it," but it's becoming part of our world now. So
It
yeah, you
is,
do need
yeah,
to maybe step back and allow yourself not to be part of that for a little bit. So yeah, no,
definitely.
that was lovely. But talking about our students, a couple of actually, a lot of them gave me lots of questions to do. So I've tried to narrow it down to sort of three questions that may help our students enough and which I thought was interesting.
Okay,
So
let's do it.
I take no responsibility for these next couple of questions, even though I have sifted through them. But the first one, which nearly every single student said, was how can they grow their TikTok account?
That's a brilliant question. Um, Number one, you need patience. You know, I got very lucky and my account sparked into life almost overnight, really. But it's patience. You've got to be doing it every day. And if you know, you might just be getting 50, 100 views on a video, that's fine. Not every video has to go viral. Um, you also need to be engaging. You need to find something that you can talk about every single day and you love and you know a lot about. And then you need to put your own spin on it to make it worth watching. I think a lot of people just post very generic stuff and that's why they don't grow. You need to have your own authentic take on something to be interesting and engaging. Um, and yeah, just enjoy it. There's no point doing it. Everyone wants to be, you know, a social media star. I think they're becoming the new celebrities, you know, people on Love Island or, you know, the YouTubers who are massive in the UK. You know, everyone wants to be them. But, you know, if it's not for you, it's not for you. You don't need to force it.
Fair enough. And sort of you are becoming, I'd say you're definitely on your way to becoming a star, but 180,000 is still, I mean, I would class that as a star already. But have you been noticed down the street at all
I
by anyone yet?
do, I do. I get noticed in very, very bizarre places. Pretty much every time I go out, someone will say, "Oh my god, are you on TikTok? I love you. I follow you." Even so, I play football in Hereford, which is obviously a very long way from here. And I was just in Tesco, grabbing myself some food, and someone comes up to me and, you know, "Oh, I follow you on TikTok. How are you?" type thing. I'm like, "I'm in Hereford Tesco at 3 o'clock on a Sunday." Like, so yeah, I do get recognised, but I love it. If you want to say hi, come and say hi. As long as you're polite, you know, I don't have a problem with that.
Have you ever had any negative experiences
I,
in person
I
or online?
think I may have,
You
but
think?
I overheard something because obviously I've got bat ears; they stick out for a reason. So I think I was walking past people sitting down, might have been having a beer or a coffee or something, and they're like, "Oh, there's that blind guy from TikTok." And so I was like, "Oh, I hate him." I was like, "All right, fair enough." You know, everyone's cup of tea, I'm afraid.
No, and that's the perfect attitude to have, isn't it? You're not going to be everyone's cup
No.
of tea. No, I love that. And our second question, which I have slightly reworded, so I do apologise to the student who put this forward, but I've slightly reworded this to say, do you still enjoy movies and playing games?
I do, I do. Audio description on films is tedious sometimes. For those who don't know what audio description is, it's like a narration of what's happening while the dialogue isn't going on. So, you know, it might be that they're putting a facial expression and that gets explained or doing something sneaky. Um, I mean, it gets tedious because it does take away a bit of the atmosphere of the film, but it's just something you've got to deal with. You know, it's a great thing, but it is accessible to us as blind people. There's been so many things that aren't accessible. So yeah, I enjoy that. Games is a different question. If it's a game I've played when I had sight, yep, because I'll just do it through memory. And maybe with a little bit of assistance from a family member or a friend. I like to team up with a friend if we're playing a game. But new games, I probably can't really play unless they're totally not sight dependent.
Yeah, because I watched a really interesting video of yours. I can't remember how long ago now, but you still play Mario Kart, don't you?
So I used to actually play Mario Kart professionally when I was younger.
Oh.
Literally, like, we'd spend 12 hours a day playing in a professional team. So I know that game inside out, and can still do some pretty crazy things on it. I don't really play it too much now, to be honest. It's not, I don't have the time to do it or anything, but yeah, I can still whack it out, and it's my party trick, I guess.
So have you found, this isn't a question from the students, but it's just because of what you just said.
Yeah.
Have you found your sort of memory has got slightly better from when you had your sight? Do you find yourself remembering things that you didn't realise you had stored in there?
Definitely, but some of the things I pull out of my locker is just ridiculous. Honestly, I'm really good at pub quizzes. If anyone does a pub quiz, they always want me on their team. I don't know. I think it's because I have to remember so much in my day-to-day life, like a lot of procedural stuff that is just second nature to someone with vision, like walking down the street. Okay, there's a bus stop on my left and then a pole on my right, so I have to take 2 steps left and then 1 right to avoid these obstacles, and that's for hundreds, if not thousands, of streets and you know, what they called, like, venues. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have them just in the back of my mind, ready to go if I'm ever there. So that probably plays a part into it. Although I don't remember to put my stuff in the dishwasher, which my girlfriend does have a go at me for.
Oh, you're only male. You can't be too perfect. Brilliant. And then the next one, I think this is quite similar to actually what you were just saying. And someone was the question again. I reworded this just okay. I'll just say. But they were asking. So, how do you dream, or do you still dream?
That's a fantastic question. That's actually probably the top 3 questions I get asked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I dream. It really, really varies from day to day. I could get a dream where I'm just hearing things and feeling things and maybe smelling things, but then occasionally I do get visual dreams, where, you know, I might see things from when I had vision. I don't obviously see anything new. Like, my girlfriend never pops into my dreams visually or anything, but yeah, my parents do. They're sort of 5-10 years younger, which I'm sure they love in my dreams. I look about 15 if I ever see myself in my dreams, which is a mess, by the way. So yeah, and they can get really, really intense. I call them sensory overload dreams, where everything just, it feels like you're tripping out a little bit, honestly. So yeah, they can be intense, but it's kind of fun, I guess. It's something to look forward to when you're going to sleep. Oh, we'll have a visual one tonight, or nothing.
Oh, you do actually look forward
Kind
to it?
of, yeah. It's more a little thought before bed, like, I wonder what's going to happen tonight. It's really weird.
And are they, when you're seeing the dreams, are they more lucid because you're aware that this is slightly different, or do you just wake up and think, oh, actually?
Sometimes they can be lucid, yeah. I know a lot of people try to practice lucid dreaming, don't they? They try and actually, like, master doing it. But yeah, sometimes it's so in depth that I feel like I'm in control of it, and obviously I'm not, or I may be somewhere in my brain, but yeah, they can get that intense, but I do feel like there's an element of control to them.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. Well, there you go. They were the 3 sort of top questions our students asked. So I won't go into some of them. It's fascinating, isn't it? Really, what some students will think to ask.
I'm curious.
I can send you the email
Yeah.
over for them if you wish. But something that did come up when I was talking to our students about you coming in was the fact you play blind football,
Yes,
don't you?
I do.
Now I believe you've brought the football with you, haven't you?
Shall I try and get that out?
If it's just to your right.
Is it on my right?
There you go.
Yeah. This is, do you know what, I'll let you have a feel of it because it's rock solid. If you feel there's panelling on it,
Yeah.
and if you kick the wrong part of that ball, oh, it's a nightmare.
Is that metal then inside?
Metal encased, so yeah, it's got ball bearings inside, which you obviously can hear that rattling.
Yeah.
And then it's encased by metal, so it obviously makes a larger noise. And if you kick the wrong spot, pain, just pure pain.
So how did you get into this then? Were you quite a sporty person before you lost your sight?
I was very, very sporty. I used to sprint competitively when I was younger and had my vision. And I was actually hoping to go to the Paralympics last year, but I broke my hip. So that put an end to my sprinting career. I've done stuff like judo. I used to love football, and I still love sort of watching football nowadays.
Chelsea fan, though, aren't you?
I'm a massive, massive Chelsea fan.
Yeah, can't be all good.
What are you?
Portsmouth.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I don't mind the Pompey lot; they're fine. But yeah, I'm very sporty. So this was a gem actually for me to find. So someone actually reached out to me because of my TikTok. They must have seen a video where I said I like football, I was wearing a football shirt. I was like, "Do you want to give it a go?" And there was someone in Havant who plays for England, which is only sort of 20 minutes away from me. And I thought, go on then. And I was rubbish on my first session, absolutely rubbish. I came back for another one and something clicked, and yeah, we're seeing where it's going now.
Brilliant. And obviously, I know the ball bearings are in there for the noise and that, but have you noticed, did your style of play have to change massively to accommodate that?
Oh yeah, I was a tricky winger, a little bit like Ronaldo, obviously better than him at 13. And yeah, so in regular football, if you're quick, obviously the ball gets pushed out in front of you a lot and you can just run into space with it. You don't have to worry about where it is, really. You can just knock it as far as you want and you'll run onto it. Whereas blind football, you have to have it really at your feet at all times. So your running motion is totally different. The way you dribble is totally different. I'm more of a striker now than a winger or a playmaker, if you want to say. And also my physicality has had to improve a hell of a lot because it is a brutal sport.
And is everyone who plays this actually blind as well? Because when I've seen your videos on it, you're all wearing blindfolds as well. So I'm wondering if some people put the blindfolds on to join in, or
yeah, that would be cool. I think obviously you can do that if you like, but everyone who plays the sport has to be registered as blind. We wear the blindfolds just because people have varying levels of blindness. So blindness is a spectrum. It doesn't just mean black or nothing. There are some players in our squad who see absolutely nothing, and then there's players like myself who can see a bit of light, and actually not with my sunglasses on, but if I were to take my glasses off and put that on a black background like my t-shirt that I'm wearing, I might be able to make out parts of the ball. So obviously it would be wildly unfair if we had our blindfolds off and some people could see and some people couldn't.
Oh, okay, cool. And so what is it if you sort of hear the noise? Because what always fascinates me is obviously you're all listening for the ball, but yeah, when you actually see like the game's playing, you still will have, like you just said, you're now a forward in that lot. So is the idea you listen to the ball and then move to the ball, or sort of still move to the space so the ball will make its way to you?
At heart, it's still football. So I guess people have their different styles of doing that. I like the ball to come to me, so I'll move to where the ball's travelling to. But some players are really, really good and far better than I'd ever hope to be. They can intercept the ball while it's moving ridiculously fast, take it under control, and then dribble away. And that's, I guess, something I'd aspire to do one day. But yeah, I move into the space and hopefully the ball gets to me eventually.
And I guess it's a lot of communication is even more key.
It's crazy. So you've got your goalkeeper acts as a guide, more for your defenders. You've got a guide on the halfway line who can sort of only operate in that third of the pitch, that middle third. And then there's a guide behind the goal that you're shooting at. So you listen to them about sort of directions roughly. They'll say you're 8 metres out left, or then obviously you've got your teammates saying where they are positionally on the pitch. And it's all very chaotic, really. A lot of people shouting. And then you've got people screaming "Voy" at you from the other team, which is saying "I am here." It's a translation, I think. And that basically means I'm going to come in and tackle you, so you better move. So I think you have to say that.
Right.
So there's lots of people shouting that all over the pitch as well.
Oh wow, it must be sort of chaotic, but it sounds like so much fun.
It's
now, do you mind
scary.
if we try and have a kick about this?
We can have a go. I haven't got the shoes on, but I can give it a go.
Yeah. One, I'm just intrigued because I want to see if I actually can avoid the metal. But two, also, do you mind if I just sort of move about and pass it to you and do the same?
Absolutely. I mean, we'll see the pitch probably isn't very smooth, but we can have a go.
No, and all the grass is dead as well.
Yeah, so it might be a bit tough, but.
So I'll let you start.
Yeah.
There you go.
Go on, cheers.
Got a clear bit in front of us.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
So I'll say about 5-10 metres away from you.
Okay, so what I'd say is if you look at my feet, if you put them in a kind of V shape, I'm going to listen to where you are on the pitch, and you're going to try and get the ball into that V effectively, because that's how you control it most effectively. Okay, so give me a shout.
Toby. Yeah, now that's probably a better pass than what I'm going to do back.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go where you quite want it, but... Beautiful.
So
it's not bad.
So now if I was to move like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll do it again. Toby. Look at that. That was straight into my leg that time.
Not too bad.
That's brilliant. And it is, and what you're doing right now is sort of just sensing where I am.
Yeah.
On the movement. And that, are you picturing me in your head, or are you just...
Oddly enough, I do. I do picture slightly. I mean, that's probably because I had vision when I was younger and played a lot of football, so I'm picturing the pitch, picturing the ball, what my feet are doing. And that's really odd to think about because the picture's probably wildly wrong in my head. But it's just given me kind of that stimulation I need to make a decision, I suppose.
Okay, let's try one more then.
Go on.
Toby?
Do you want to try one while you're moving?
Yeah.
If I can play it, if you either go left or right, I'll see if I can play it into your path.
I'll tell you which way I'm going.
Give me a shout when you're moving.
Okay, right, I'm moving.
Great touch.
If there was a goal, I would have smashed it in the goal as well.
That's it. I've got to find the bench now.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it was over this way, wasn't it?
Just, yep, you're
Just
there.
one more. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's fascinating. I've always wondered what these are like as well.
They're crazy. They cost a hell of a lot to make, I think.
Oh, do
they're
they?
Crazy, yeah. They're absolutely crazy.
Ah, brilliant. Right, well, thank you so much for that.
No, that's okay. Shall I back this on the floor?
No, it's fine.
No, we'll keep it on the
yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
Little trophy, why
yeah,
not?
it looks cool. Yeah, and they were fantastic passes. I play five-a-side with a few of my mates every Thursday, and you better passing than what they were. That was brilliant.
So I'm a little Perlo, the blind Perlo. That's what.
Brilliant. So yeah, if we can get back into it now, that was
Sure.
great fun. But obviously, with students and people everywhere, people do come across bumps, and not all the bumps are the same sizes for everyone. But yeah, it's about getting over them, which you said something just clicked for you and did that. But what would you say to those students who are in school right now who may be finding the exams are just too much, their friends aren't talking to them, and they're still bumps to them, maybe not as big a bumps as what you've been through, but what advice would you give them?
I think what you just said's brilliant. In a bump is a bump. It doesn't matter the size of it, and every bump is a different size for a different person. And the first thing to do, and this is probably my counselling and psychology playing a part in this, is it's okay to accept that it's a bump and how you feel about it. You know, there's a big pressure, I feel, to get over that bump and feel amazing about life as soon as possible. But it is okay to sit in that trough, if you like. Not everything can be a peak in life. So yeah, that's the first thing to maybe think about, in my opinion. And then in terms of actually getting over it, it's all about patience and, you know, regulating your own emotions with that, not getting too overwhelmed or trying to maintain that, you know, steady state of mind with it, and think about the solutions. Try and be as logical as possible, and, you know, think, how can I get out of this situation?
Yeah, fantastic. That's really, really good. Yeah, like I say, I just think that's such an important question to ask someone like yourself, because you have just turned into something so positive. And I know I keep repeating that, and I'm sure you're sick of me saying it, but
No,
I generally look forward to seeing one of your videos pop up, or I'll actively seek you out sometimes. What's he doing today? How can you make me laugh, or what can I learn?
I really appreciate that.
No, and it's very genuine as well. Like I said, when I just went through your account, and then I saw your email address. I was like, oh, I might reach out. But then one of your videos said you're in Chichester. I was like, that's really
even better.
Yeah. So no, again, I really appreciate you being here.
No, of course.
But what's next for Toby then? So you've got your social media account, you've got your degree. You've already said you're focusing quite heavily on the social media. But sort of for you as a person, where are you going next?
I've fallen in love with blind football. I've absolutely fallen in love with it. So I'm going to invest a lot of my time and energy into developing that and playing more games and aspiring to hopefully one day play for England. I'm also starting up a YouTube soon enough, and that's going to get more long form content for people who are intrigued about who I am as a person. And, you know, TikTok's great, you know, for spreading awareness, but, you know, you've got 30 seconds to a minute to speak about something that's very complex. So YouTube's going to be great for spreading more awareness and hopefully making more people laugh. And that's really the short-term goal, I suppose. We're going to see how it plays out. Social media is such an unknown. You can't predict it. It changes every week. So we'll see how that goes, but that's where I'm trying to head for now.
Oh, that's fascinating, and we'll generally be following your progress in blind football. We actually are partnered with England Beach Soccer, because here at the British Online School, obviously it's hard for us to do PE in school, so we really think physical education, sports, and being active is so important. So yeah, we'll definitely be following you, and if it's okay with you, maybe talk to you when you do eventually get into that England national team. We'll invite you back. Sort of our students can hear exactly how well you're doing for the national team.
Absolutely, I'll be more than happy to come back and let you know how I'm doing.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, before we wrap the podcast up, there's always two questions I like to ask every single guest.
Go on.
The first question being, what is your favourite memory from your time at school?
My favourite memory? Do you know what, can I give you two?
Of course you can.
So, as I said, I was a bit naughty, maybe frustrated when I was younger. I wasn't the best of student growing up, sort of year 7, 8, 9. and even year 10 actually. So when I went into my GCSEs, I got my mock results back and they were shocking. Like E's and F's all over the board. And then I broke my hip and something changed because I no longer had sport. So then the Easter mocks came around. I don't know what your format is in school, but we had mocks at sort of April time before the exam started. And I got my science paper back and it was an A. And I just remember sitting there being so gobsmacked because I never ever thought that I'd be able to get an A. I'd never gotten an A before, only in PE. And yeah, that was really the turning factor for me in really trying in school and getting an education.
Oh, brilliant.
And then the second one was my results day, and it just showed how much the hard work had paid off in those few months. And I did far better than I ever thought I would, and far better than all my teachers thought I would have. So yeah, they're my two favourite.
And do you think your school education has helped you with your TikTok account, which is obviously what sort of you're most successful for right now?
I'd say so, yeah. I think I try to be as articulate as possible. I come from an area like North London where you've got a bit of an accent and you put on voices and whatnot. So I think it's helped me in maintaining that kind of mature personality that I try to put across. It's not the most academic job in the world, but it helps me be creative as well. That's a big part of my job, is being creative, brainstorming, thinking about what I can do and how I can improve and what videos to put out. So yeah, it's definitely probably nurtured my creativity in some way as well.
Brilliant. And the final question, which I always think is the most important question, and that is, if you could give one piece of advice, and you've already given some great pieces of advice along the way, but one general piece of advice to any student who's currently in school now, whether they're just starting out or just getting ready to leave, what would that one piece of advice be?
Plan A is always amazing, and you should aspire to reach Plan A, but make sure that Plan B and C are bulletproof.
Brilliant. Very, very nice. So, Toby, for everyone who wishes to follow you, follow your journey, watch you become an England international blind football player, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok at Blind Tobes, Instagram at Blind Tobes, and coming soon, I don't know when this podcast is out, but YouTube will be at Blind Tobes.
Excellent. Well, this should be out next week. So this time next week will be out. Will YouTube be ready by then?
I hope so. I hope so. So hopefully YouTube, Blind Tobes.
Yeah, make sure you send us that link then, and we'll make sure we put that in below.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Toby. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. It's been a real honour to speak with you, hear your stories, and I'm going to continue watching your channel, that's for sure, and I hope all our students do as well. So yes, once again, Toby, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, my pleasure, honestly.